Verses 12 to 20. He arms them against the temptations of a prosperous condition, and charges them to stand upon their guard against them, when thou art settled in goodly houses of thy own building. v12. For though God gave them houses which they builded not, ch 6:10, these would not serve them, they must have larger and finer, and when thou hast grown rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold, v13, as Abraham, General 13:2, when all thou hast is multiplied. Then take heed of pride. Beware lest then thy heart be lifted up. v14. When the estate rises, the mind is apt to rise with it, in self-conceit, self-complacency, and self-confidence. Let us therefore strive to keep the spirit low in a high condition. Humility is both the ease and the ornament of prosperity. Take heed of saying, so much as in thy heart, that proud word, my power, even the might of my hand, hath gotten me this wealth. v17. Note, we must never take the praise of our prosperity to ourselves, nor attribute it to our ingenuity or industry, for bread is not always to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding. Ecl 9:11. It is spiritual idolatry thus to sacrifice to our own net. Hab 1:16. Then take heed of forgetting God. This follows upon the lifting up on the heart, for it is through the pride of the countenance that the wicked seek not after God. PS 10:4. Those that admire themselves despise God. Forget not thy duty to God. v11. We forget God if we keep not His commandments, we forget His authority over us, and our obligations to Him and expectations from Him, if we are not obedient to His laws. When men grow rich they are tempted to think religion a needless thing. They are happy without it, think it a thing below them and too hard upon them. Their dignity forbids them to stoop, and their liberty forbids them to serve. But we are basely ungrateful if the better God is to us the worse we are to Him. Forget not God's former dealings with thee. Thy deliverance out of Egypt. v14. The provision He made for thee in the wilderness, that great and terrible wilderness. They must never forget the impressions which the horror of that wilderness made upon them. Siege 2:6, where it is called the very shadow of death. There God preserved them from being destroyed by the fiery serpents and scorpions, though sometimes He made use of them for their correction. There He kept them from perishing for want of water, following them with water out of a rock of flint. v15, out of which, says Bishop Patrick, one would rather have expected fire than water. There He fed them with manna, of which before, v3, taking care to keep them alive, that He might do them good at their latter end. v16. Note, God reserves the best till the last for His Israel. However He may seem to deal hardly with them by the way, He will not fail to do them good at their latter end. Forget not God's hand in thy present prosperity. v18. Remember it is He that giveth thee wealth, for He giveth thee power to get wealth. See here how God's giving and our getting are reconciled, and apply it to spiritual wealth. It is our duty to get wisdom, and above all our gettings to get understanding, and yet it is God's grace that gives wisdom, and when we have got it we must not say, it was the might of our hand that got it, but must own it was God that gave us power to get it, and therefore to Him we must give the praise and consecrate the use of it. The blessing of the Lord on the hand of the diligent makes rich both for this world and for the other. He giveth thee power to get wealth, not so much to gratify thee, and make thee easy, as that He may establish His covenant. All God's gifts are in pursuance of His promises. He repeats the fair warning He had often given them of the fatal consequences of their apostasy from God. v19:20. How He describes the sin, it is forgetting God, and then worshipping other gods. What wickedness will not those fall into that keep thoughts of God out of their minds? And, when once the affections are displaced from God, they will soon be misplaced upon lying vanities. How He denounces wrath and ruin against them for it. If you do so, you shall surely perish, and the power and might of your hands, which you are so proud of, cannot help you. Nay, you shall perish as the nations that are driven out before you. God will make no more account of you, notwithstanding His covenant with you and your relation to Him, than He does of them, if you will not be obedient and faithful to Him. Those that follow others in sin will certainly follow them to destruction. If we do as sinners do, we must expect to fare as sinners fare.